If you enjoy our content, consider hitting the like button. If you love our content,
I love you, man!
then please hit the subscribe button. And if you do that, then go ahead and press the bell icon. It helps us out a lot and we really appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 24 of the Post Fight Podcast. We are coming at you guys. It'll be Wednesday morning when you'll get this after UFC 261. Rest in peace, George Masvidal and that whole hype train. They handled the loss very well, though. I'm still a fan, and I'm not shitting on them or anything, but didn't mention that I was going to say this before, but Trayvon, I'm sure you appreciate our the one moment of unity we have in the MMA community where the entire audience is screaming "fuck Jake Paul." Though that to me was probably top 3 best things to happen in that event. So before we start, we want to get to you guys a little news. First on that list is Chris Weidman releases X-rays. He's got surgery. He seems to be doing fine. It was tough to see. The fight with TJ Dillashaw, between TJ Dillashaw and Sanhagen, that got called off.
Right before we started recording, he got cut. TJ, so he can't fight, which is unfortunate. His cut looked pretty bad too. I don't know if Armand seen it. I seen the cut right before I got on. It was pretty rough, man.
But yeah, so that's news. That card might be headlined by Michelle Waterson now, which is nothing anyone's excited for. I think even her simps are going to get tired of watching her lose to fighters who are relatively competent. Third on the list, Khamzat Chimaev is back. He's announced his return. That's sort of old news now, but just yesterday, the day before, sometime recently, he had an interview with John Morgan from MMA Junkie, I think it is. Yeah, he had surgery for something to do with his COVID problem. His English wasn't good enough to explain what that was about, so he didn't. But he wanted Gilbert Burns apparently. But Gilbert Burns, I don't know if that's been announced, but he apparently had a different opponent, so he couldn't fight Gilbert Burns. He wants to come back in August. Dana said yes. He doesn't care what weight division. Pretty much everything about his demeanor is the same. His demands are the same. He doesn't care what weight, but there's talks of, and this is the next bit of news, Nit Diaz is apparently seriously discussing a return with Dana White, and that is a fight that's in talks of happening. We'll put a picture up of what he looks like. Trayvon and I seem to think he looks old and smaller, but in shape and shredded, which is a sign that he's not getting fat and drinking all the time anymore. So that's that. This website called SportX released their fighter pays, which we want to talk about. And these things, and MMA Junkie released also something. All of this stuff is, as far as I'm aware, basically conjecture. It's a guess made based off of previous purses and stuff. And I'll link this article down below. There's some legislation a while ago. The UFC doesn't have to disclose. They actually lobbied for MMA and boxing not to.
Man, I saw that
back in like 2012. Under the But here are the numbers we have. As far as we know, everyone on the main card made at least $100,000, 6 figures. The highest, supposedly, with pay-per-view points was Usman, who made 1.5 million, and Masvidal, he made 800K. These are all good payouts, I think. Like for Anthony Smith, 360K, 205 for Jim Crude. That's fine. Prelims. Most people make good money, except for the bottom of the card, which kind of sucks. But we're gonna talk about the bottom of the card. People who like Stefan Shakulik, whatever, Stefan, whoever, Tristan Connolly, Patrick Sabatini, and everyone on the undercard, the prelim card. All of them were guaranteed, with the exception of 2 of them being guaranteed $2,000 more. A $10,000 purse to show. 2 of them got 12, and then 10 to win, and nothing if they lost, and then 4,000 for the Venom deal. Obviously, we think that's horrible. That's not enough money to do anything. If you fight, let's say you fight once a year, that's your pay. You walk home with $14,000, and you fight again later in the year, and that's your pay. You walk home with $14,000. Congratulations, you're now, I'm pretty sure, beneath the poverty standards in this country, and if not $24,000 a year, that's not a living. And when you consider the expenses these fighters have to pay. They have to pay nutritionists. They have to pay training partners whom they flew in. They have to pay a management team. They have to pay their coaches. It's not. They don't see most of that money. So and these people get hurt. They get hurt. They come out here to get hurt. And when people like Smile and Sam Alvey, who for some reason has branded himself like the poor man's Daniel Cormier, the poor man's company man, who's like, if you want, he's got that pick yourself up by the bootstraps to make something out of yourself in the UFC mentality. That's fine, but you still see in this case someone, and you could argue that someone in OEG Lang Liang and Molina did that because they both took home $50K, which is 5 times what their guaranteed purses were. But in any case, congratulations to them. That's actually fantastic. But we also have that first fight between Carnelosi and the woman she fought, Na Liang. They put their heart and soul into that. And Na Liang got injured a lot. I mean, she did not look good. She got pounded. That's potential concussive brain damage she took. All so that she could walk home with $14,000. You know what I mean? And that was a great fight. So it's not even guaranteed that if you put on a performance of the night worthy performance that you're going to get that extra 500% of your original guaranteed purse. So, yeah, that's that. Now we'll get on to the fights. Trayvon, you call it. Do you want to go top up or bottom down?
We'll go top down.
All right. Did I say top up and bottom down? It doesn't matter. You get my
Yeah.
point. You get what I mean.
No, yeah. So we'll go top down because we got a lot of stuff we got to
Cover. Yeah.
So Usman and Masvidal. So we didn't get to do a prediction before the fight. I would have picked Usman kind of by like a clear decision. To me it would have been this pretty much the same fight. Now, here's like I think like just even though the fight wasn't too long, I think Jorge kind of had a game plan of trying to sit back and counter, which I didn't really like. I didn't like that at all. I think he should have drew reactions out of Usman and tried to like make Usman react and make Usman like on the back foot and all that. Because it felt like to me like Jorge was very active with his wrestling in this fight. It looked like obviously like he was very diligent. He was talking about that. And the one time he was against the cage, he tried to circle up immediately, which obviously he should be trying to do, which is good. But like I kind of didn't like how Masvidal was just kind of like setting back, trying to counter hook Usman, like the whole time, because it made him really reactive. In which his defense isn't the best to just be doing that. It isn't the best to be able to like sit back at range and keep himself safe and like pick off every single thing that could ever happen. And consequently, Usman, impressed. He's been continuously making better and better reads as fights goes on. I really enjoy seeing him do that. He's not like a striker by trade, but man, he's looking much better. He's playing his strikes off of each other now. He's seeing the reactions they bring out, and he's countering those reactions, which is just awesome. That's what I like to see. As the resident Usman appreciator for the longest, I've been on his. I'm like, hey man, Usman's a good fighter, you guys. People are like, no, he's boring. I'm like,
not anymore,
to
man.
me, but
not anymore.
I'm like, not to me, you guys. He's good. And they're like, I hate Usman. I'm like, okay, you guys, do what y'all do. You know what I mean? It's nice to see him get better and be more entertaining. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Oh my god, 100%.
Like on the finish itself, brutal as hell. Goodness gracious, he knocked it down. The fluids off of Masvidal's head, man.
My friend Matthew was
like,
watching
oh,
it. He
snap.
said it looked like a water balloon. He said it looked like a water balloon exploding.
For real, yes, yeah, exactly, like a slow motion of the water balloon just popping.
Yeah.
I know, yes.
It was a very funny comment.
But no, I really like that. I like that entry because Masvidal for his whole career has been a really big counter hooker, counter lead hook guy. He's a good counter hook. He dropped Ross Pearson with it. He landed on Usman a few times, even in this fight. People counter hooks a lot. You know what I mean? That's just one of his things he's good at. And then again, Masvidal was really reactive and kind of sitting back, giving Usman time and space, which I don't like. I don't really like that he did that, man. Allowing Usman to kind of pick his shots together. And Armand made a point before we recorded that every time Usman threw like more than one strike off of his jab, he landed against Masvidal. Because Masvidal was just preparing specific counters and then kind of like set back at range and getting tapped something out of stance or like out of like when he wasn't ready. Usman did a good job of mixing up the timing of that stuff too as well, which is nice. But yeah, like Usman just made the read. Okay, Masvidal's gonna try to counter hook me. Let me take a deep step through with this big punch so that I can close the gap. And it just happened the big punch borderline knocked his head off. But I would say that was a good entry to me because it would allow him to either get to a double entry or to the clinch or something of that sort. You know what I mean? That would allow him to like continue on fighting a better fight on his end. Because Usman was doing a good job with the body jabs, touching up with a few jabs in the face, playing a little bit off of like 1-2s every once in a while. And like again, like the fight was relatively quick, so can't say much, but I think it was a good fight, and I think Usman would have won it regardless because Usman's the better fighter, just plainly. No, yeah, that's that. Very impressive, Usman. He is. I would say he's on the way to become a welterweight GOAT, but that's damn near not saying impossible, but that's just hard to do because he's arguably the GOAT himself. So, but he's already an all-time great. A solid top 25 fighter to me. I think he has a very big claim, very true and legit claim as pound for pound number one, as well.
I'm right with you there. I would say pound for. So so I'm gonna piggyback right off of what you said and then work that into my own comments in the fight. So as far as pound for pound stuff is concerned, again, it's very fun as the fan, not so much as like the serious analyst type of brain in me, because there's no objective or tangible claim to those things.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. It's like, it's kind of like whose trophy is shinier.
Yeah.
But I would say, given everything, from what logical standpoint you can approach this, I don't see a clear contender for someone who's currently pound for pound number one. To call Jones the pound for pound number one right now is just it's too, you're reaching back into 2013. Like,
yeah,
it's too. I mean, he's had great performances, and at one point he certainly was. But his last 2 fights were losses, whether the judges saw it as such or not. Glover Teixeira was the linear champion, and he didn't look that good in them, and he hasn't fought since he nearly lost to Dominic Reyes. And he's not even John Jones is, let's not even go there. Khabib was my pick for pound number one at the time. And Usman was I would say Usman had to be close second. Only reason he didn't immediately contest for that pound number one spot was because he's had fights from which he was hurt, dropped, and like kind of wobbled and stuff like that, whereas Khabib just lost a round that was close and never was hurt. But now that that's done, I see Usman really reigning over that division for a long time by a widening margin, because I think he's going to continue getting better. And I don't know anyone who's, except Petr Yan, which is, Petr Yan, which is coming up, who right now has that claim. So I agree with you. Now on to the fight. I think this Jorge Masvidal prepared to beat Kamaru Usman that he fought on 6 days' notice, and was very ready for the exchanges that defined that first performance. Because if you look off his back, he was very diligent about getting to the fence, which I wasn't sure of as a strategy, because the mat return meta that all those wrestlers like Kobe, Khabib, people who want you to get up to the fence so they can break you back down, have implemented in the past few years. But he did a really good job. Yes, he got mat returned a few times. He got put in the back body lock. But eventually, he got his back onto the fence, got underhooks or whatever. I don't remember exactly what he did. But he spun out of it and got back to the center. I think he was ready to do that all night. I said this to someone, and I don't know how true it is, but I was mostly exaggerating to make a point. This Masvidal might have beaten the Usman that he fought back in whenever he fought him, right? Maybe. Because that was the approach he was expecting from him. That being said, I think I agree with you. Masvidal was too reactive. He waited back too much, and he had like specific counters planned that when they didn't present themselves, he just leaned back and then would get caught off. And it looked to surprise him that he got hit. Like, not necessarily didn't see it coming, but that, yes, he didn't see it coming, but didn't expect it. Like, it was...
No, it looked like to me that he wasn't expecting Usman to continue exchanging with him. Like, he felt like the exchange was going to end, and then he come back with something like, "Oh, snap! What the hell? I thought he was done exchanging."
He would get all cute and blow a kiss, and fight starts off. I like people going to the legs against Kamaru Usman. I like people going to the body against Kamaru Usman. I think that, especially since he's got really thin legs, he's got the John Jones legs, that's a great strategy. Especially since he wants to jab.
There's no, to me, I'm sorry, Armand, I'm to cut you off. There's no reason to not go to the body against Usman. You have to slow him down, man. Like, it's mandatory, man. Like, you have to make him not want to wrestle you as well. You have to have going to the body against Usman should be like a core component
Step
of your game
one.
plan.
Like, you should put that down on the list instantly.
Yeah, for real.
And I agree with that. And I like that Masvidal was doing those things. You saw when Usman tried to throw, and I'm so big on this because it's such an important thing to do. It's an MMA thing. Whenever Usman would try the jab, Masvidal would throw the low kick, and it stopped Usman from jabbing. And there's several exchanges. I think that happened 3 times. I like that he was throwing to the body. I like what he was doing. But Masvidal, in the past few fights, it looks like he's like relying on the same few weapons. And it's very strange that switch overhand whatever combination that he landed on Darren Till. I think he tried that like 3 times in the first fight with Usman. He tried it here twice, and then he did it a lot of times to Nate Diaz to the point where it's becoming very predictable, and it never worked for him. And he was getting counter entries. I thought he was, but overall, I thought he was doing well with kicks and things like that. But I noted, okay, every time Usman throws anything more than just a single strike, he gets hit, like leaning back. And I was like, this can't last all day. This isn't going to be good, but he seems fine. I like that he was throwing elbows off his back. The round ended, and he landed a knee that appeared to wobble Usman. Like, when Usman gets that face that like, I put it in another video, when that kind of concerned look, wide-eyed look on his face. I thought, oh, that actually seemed to hurt. And he landed like a 3-piece combination of the forehead after that. It was a close round. Usman definitely won it. But fundamentally, the approach is wrong. Who has had the most success against Kamaru Usman? Someone who came in immediately backed him up. Immediately put him on the back foot. Kamaru Usman's entire game, the building block of his fighting style does not revolve around waiting for you to come in. Yes, he can pull counter and do elements of counter-punchy things, but he's always imposing his presence and himself on his opponent in the fight. He's always trying to dictate the dynamic of the fight. So leaning back and waiting for someone like him to pick his shots and work himself out and figure out what you're going to do, you're letting him dump. You're not contesting him for who is dominating the dynamic of the fight. You're essentially surrendering it to him so that you can try and like capitalize on whatever holes you think he's going to present. And I don't like that approach. I think Jorge should have taken the fight to Usman and try to fluster him and catch him off and trust in his improved takedown defense and trust that he can get up because he could. And off his back, he was from open guard. That wasn't a good place for Usman to be. He wasn't doing any damage. He was getting elbowed and shoved, and then he really didn't get anything from that takedown. So my opinion is, if you're someone like Jorge Masvidal, understand that an inevitable part of this fight is getting put on your butt. Probably it's probably getting in a clinch exchange that's going to catch you off and not favor you. But that you have to see this as a 5-round fight, and you have to deal attritive damage over the time and trust in your training. You just spent however long training to get out of those situations. You know what I'm saying? So that's my whole thing. I think he took way too passive of an approach when I would have liked to have seen a more aggressive approach from him. Like I said with Gilbert Burns, I think that's one of the keys to beating Usman is coming out hard early and then using that aggression strategically. Because Usman is not the most defensively sound fighter. He can get hit, and he does. And he has a good chin, but it's not like a Dan Henderson chin or a Mark Hunt chin. You know, Gilbert Burns dropped him. So that's my read on that fight. So good for him. And yeah, that's my analysis.
Oh no, yeah. So next we'll get into Rose versus Wei Lee. Unfortunately, this fight was too quick, man. Like there was at least in my end, there's not really much to say other than I didn't really like Wei Lee's defense to that kick. So the fight was starting. Wei Lee was throwing leg kicks. Rose was kind of hitting in and out feints and things like that, and trying to jab at Wei Lee. And then before anything cool could happen, well, something cool happened, but that was the only cool thing that happened. I think the fight could have been really good. I think Wei Lee tried to pull her leg out of the way off of a leg kick there that she thought was coming. Like that's a very basic Muay Thai defense or kickboxing defense of to evade a low kick. She did it to Joanna a lot actually. And Senchai has a video of that teaching Wei Lee to do it. But unfortunately she didn't do it that good because as she was pulling, she opened up her guard like this, she guard's tight, but she opened up her guard, and the kicks, if you guys realize, is snuck in between the guard. But that's because her guard was just extremely wide open. If you gotta do that, you need to have some defensive, other defensive layers built in. Because you'll never read everything 100%. Everyone makes mistakes. Everybody has bad reads. Everybody has bad reactions. You can't read everything 100%. So you need different layers to help yourself out. So she pulled a low kick that didn't come, and she sold it all on the low kick. And her guard didn't help her out again, being so wide. If she had it tighter, she could probably parry the kick, block the kick, just something. It would have been inconsequential. It would have just been a little slapping kick to her guard, and it wouldn't have mattered, and they would have continued on fighting. But since basically her defense was literally wide open, you know what I mean? Yeah. She got smacked with a pretty rough kick too, because her angle of her body kind of dipped into it in a funny way. The way how she was defending, her legs were straight, and she kind of folded into it, and so she just got smacked with a mean kick. Without really a stance too. Exactly, yeah. She was basically dead to rights. Rose is a fighter. I really like her as a fighter, man. She's good, very, very good. I like to see her perform. The 115 is pretty fun. I like 115. One's 115. For Rose though, I'm not really sure who she can fight. She's kind of fought everybody as is already.
Beating them one way or another,
yeah. Yeah. So, but no, this was a really good fight. Unfortunately, it was quick, man. I think it could have been a good fight. I really think it could have been a really good fight, but that's pretty much that on my end.
I don't have too much else to say. Rose has a lot of really cool things hiding her. She has she has this long stride, in and out movement, and she'll break that by just it's really nice.
She does a lot of good stuff at the range. She has a good jab. She in and out movements off of that stuff. She does a lot of stuff, and we didn't get to see none of it. We didn't get to see Wei Lee's pocket exchanges either. We didn't get to see anything.
Yeah.
I hate those quick fights, man.
Well, Whaley was trying to do her thing, the step up low kick, the things like that.
Hmm.
All I will say is you're right. Like, what she had her leg out, she tried to pull it back because she thought a low kick was coming. Like, one of the fail safes you can do is if you think a low kick's coming, just put your arms up like this, or like this, or just like that. Something on the side of the kick, on the kicking side. I think there's some example I'm thinking of what Yoel Romero thinks some like a body kick or some kick beneath the neck is coming, and he braces for it, but knows that it could be high, so he does this instead, and it like saves it. It blocks half the kick and saves him. I'll find an example of it. But yeah, when by pulling her leg back, she kind of destabilizes her stance somewhat, and so that makes it even harder for the force to travel through her body in a way that'll keep her standing. She falls. The stoppage was good. She fell back Stipe Miocic style, backward on her ankle.
She wasn't defending herself either, man.
No, and
she was out of there. When she got up, she was just out over the place.
She was complaining, but doing so while stumbling everywhere and throwing her arm, pouting like a child. But yeah, I was very emotional when Rose won. Say what you want about her as a person, she says some wonky things. I have so much respect for her for the same reason I have so much respect for Tony Ferguson, who also says wonky things that make no sense and sometimes are problematic. Mentally ill, very, very mentally ill, has lots of struggles with mental illness. That's a subject that's very near and dear to me. As I've commented on before in some of our less structured videos, where we shared our opinions on other matters. People who demonstrate excellence in combat sports, despite brandishing themselves as these stereotypically brutal, or what's the word I'm looking for? Pain-resistant people. You know what I'm saying? Like callous.
Yeah, tough guy sport, macho sport.
Not just that, like warriors within and without. You know what I mean? Like you know what I'm talking about, right? Like show no pain, feel no pain, show no mercy, that type of thing. GSP, who's been very vulnerable with people. Justin Gaethje, who's also vulnerable about being afraid. People like that, whose personal lives have shown that they have very difficult circumstances to overcome. Tony Ferguson, with being mentally ill and having experienced psychosis. Thug Rose wearing that on her sleeves every time she talks, crying and whatnot, and having been abused. Tremendous inspiration to people who struggle with similar issues, and I have so much respect for her, just for doing what she's done, and mostly having good things to say. In any case, we'll now move on to the next fight, which was not Joanna Jędrzejczyk. I'm so sorry. That's Valentina Shevchenko versus Jessica Andrade. You can go.
No, yeah. Fight was kind of how I thought it was gonna be. I like, okay, if you would have put a gun to my head and said, "How do you see it's gonna be?" I'm like, okay, I think Valentina's gonna dominate and kind of kill her, which effectively happened. But if there was a universe where Andrade made it kind of rough and tumbly, I wouldn't have been surprised about that too. But seeing the fight happen, I was like, oh yeah, this is automatic. Like 2 seconds in.
Fuck Hans Molenkamp.
The main thing is
like Monster. I don't like Hans Molenkamp.
main thing is Valentina is just super good. Really, that's it. She's just elite. She's just elite skill wise. Striker elite, grappler elite, clinch person elite. Main thing we want to talk about, man, the funny, just kind of funny commentary stories, pretty much, man, and just how how the commentary was like, man, we was not expecting Valentina to wrestle this fight, and we're like, dude,
it's the same three people who say that every fight.
She's a grappler. She's a half guard top control player. Freaking, it's like knee slices and stuff, and gets crucifix. That's her game.
She does the same thing.
That's what she wants to do.
And dude, it's the same types of clinch entries, the same takedowns, the same trips, the same strategy when she's against the cage, trying to knee and trip people.
This is the Valentina fights. At range, a person will commit hard to her right hand. She'll dip it, catch a head and arm trip, actually hit like a good chip or throw. End up in half guard, catch a good ass crossface and head and arm control. Start to pass, maybe knee slice. When she knee slices, she starts to control in the hand, gets them up to crucifix, fight over. That's every single Valentina fight right there,
Really, yeah.
That's her fight. See what I mean? Maybe add in a little counter punches here and there. Maybe if the person's a good grappler, he doesn't get the knee slice pass or whatever. Yeah. But no, that's every single Valentina fight, man. It's like that's it.
And so just some more comments. So on the fight, basically, she did the thing like she waited for Andrade. Sometimes I think she over relies on the check hook. Like she'll over relying on the lean away, like if her fight against Holly Holm. But whatever. She's a good striker. Like okay, like there's a group of hardcore MMA fans who think that they're more hardcore than you because they're contrarians to every single hype train or point. I don't like, and to be fair, even though I really like him, Jack Slack, you're the worst peddler of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, just because Valentina Shevchenko's fan base is extremely unusual, very simpish, and just kind of retarded, to be honest with you, they're just like cancer, doesn't mean she's a bad fighter. It's not her fault that her opponents suck, right? Like, she has problems in that if you don't take initiative, she can, and she hasn't won the fight by a large margin in the beginning to where she's built that confidence. She won't do anything, right? Like the Nunes fight was really Nunes like, hey, the things I usually do to dominate these women aren't working, so I'm really not going to do much. There's two. That's the second one. And Valentina going, yeah, she's not doing much, so I'm just going to kick her leg. You know what I'm saying? So that can happen. Every fighter has a problem like that. You know what I'm saying? Have you watched Khabib Nurmagomedov not be able to get a takedown in rounds 3 and 4 against Al Quinta and how horrible he looked? I mean, he didn't look horrible, but that's a far cry from dominant 29-0 champion. He looked like he could get knocked out by anyone in that. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to make that comment because I'm going to get pilloried by people who are like, oh, another Valentino simp. I'm not a simp. I'm not. I don't think, you know what I'm saying? She's not this God-sent person. She speaks 3 languages because those are the 3 languages of her heritage. I think her mom is from Argentina or something, you know, and she's Kazakh, so she knows Russian. Like, of course she does. She grew up in a house where that's normal, and she's an international athlete, so she speaks English. It's not because she's this genius.
Wait, Armand. You're telling me she's not a goddess brought down from Earth to destroy these more? You're telling me she's not that?
No,
she's not a goddess.
Unfortunately, not.
Man.
There was this news
article.
Here
I am thinking that we were on the same page, but I guess
there was this.
I guess we're not.
There's this news article that
you know
said,
what, man? You got this to yourself. I'm gonna leave.
He's out of here. There was this news article that said she could be like a billionaire CEO if she didn't donate.
No, so yeah, okay.
Okay, so shit like
we're not talking about that. Valentina's an elite fighter, very elite, very good,
and she's a cool person. Like that's that. Like people can be cool without being angelic. That's it. So on to the fight now. I just want to talk about the fight really quickly. So commentary problems are annoying. They both overdo their praise for her and undersell her abilities at the same time. They talk about her as this elite kickboxer person, which by her pedigree she is. If you look at what she's done her whole life in her kickboxing Muay Thai championships, she's very good, and she's very good in the thing. But they act like they did with Rafael Fiziev, where like her thing is to strike, and she's going to be the best counter striker, the best offensive striker, everywhere in the thing. And if she goes for a takedown, this is something new from Valentina. We never seen it before. Trayvon already covered that. They oversell her as a striker, and they undersell her as a grappler. She's an MMA fighter, so it like flows, right? And like they're like, I see a giant and surprising strength discrepancy between Andrade and Valentina's on the favorable end of it. It's like, actually, no. I see that in positions where technically you're on even a playing field, Andrade was stronger. Like when they just had the over-under, Andrade was just very untechnically lifting Valentina with the underhook and flinging her around. It's the fact that Valentina was technically better, that she was able to get into a position where she had the leverage advantage and then use that leverage advantage and her strength to take her down, right? It's like, it had nothing to do with strength. If they arm wrestled or had a pushing contest, Andrade would probably win. And so it was just
like, no, yeah, because I remember when Andrade was going for a single leg lift off the cage, and they were like, oh, is she gonna get it? And then Valentina stuffed it, and they're like, oh, dang, Valentina's just a freaking Hulk. And like, Valentina's strong as hell. Yes, she's strong as hell. Like, she clearly woman handles these girls in the division. She'd be throwing them around all the damn time. Throw around Jessica Andrade. You have to be strong to throw around Jessica Andrade. You just can't do that. You got to be strong to throw her around.
Yeah.
But like,
you have to be the Hulk.
It's because she's good.
Yeah. You don't have to be stronger than her.
Good stuff.
You don't have to be stronger than her. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Watch
exactly.
Abdulrashid Sadulayev take down Kyle Schneider, who's smaller than Schneider, but he took him down and pinned him because he's weaker, but they're still both very strong, and he was more skilled, right? So like, it just blows my mind, and I just hate listening to commentary. So. And these are the same people who watch her and say the same thing every time. It's DC and fucking Joe Rogan.
I know, that's the funny thing.
It's the same 3 fucking people, man. I don't understand what do they do? Like they just go home and forget. You know what I'm saying? They go home and forget. Like
no, yes, man. Valentina's a grappler kind of now, man. She really is.
At this division, because she's not fighting people like who are way bigger than her. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, no, it's kind of funny. And just a funny thing. Watch her fighting Holly Holm. Watch her fighting Amanda Nunes. And look at the insane size gap, dude. It is hilarious to look at. Like,
it's very small. Like they could both fight at 145. She doesn't walk around at 145. I promise you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So
it's hilarious to look at, man. It is hilarious to look at. But yeah, like Valentina is just an elite fighter. Yeah.
She's
like,
very good. Like it doesn't make it's the truth. She's very good. She's very good, damn it. She beat Ioana and Jacek. Clearly. You know what I'm saying? She's very good. She's beat everyone. And had boring fights with Liz Carmouche and fucking people because they suck and didn't do anything and she can't be asked to press the action. Whatever. She's good. And she beat Andrade and dominated her. And I was surprised because I thought it'd be a little uglier, but not that surprised. Next fight. The most unfortunate thing ever. Oh, poor Chris Weidman, man. You can start. I just want to mourn over here for a minute.
No, I mean, okay, it wasn't a fight, so nothing to talk about. Damn, that sucked ass. Like, normally, okay, with injuries, right? I mean, like, I'm like, damn, that sucks, you know what I mean? But I go about my day.
Yeah.
This one kind of sucked a little bit more, man, because, you know, all the stories around it, like, it happened with him and Anderson, all that stuff. So, like, it just was sad, like, to me. Like, normally with injuries, I mean, I'm not like, yeah, man, I like to see people get hurt. Never like to see people get hurt.
No.
But I'm like, okay, if a guy breaks his leg, I'm like, ooh, that's not good. Go about my day, though. If a guy, like, gets brutally knocked out, like Masvidal, I'm like, oh, well, that sucks for him. Hope he's good, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel you.
But yeah, this was unfortunate, man. It just was, I felt kind of bad, you know what I mean? Chris Weidman's already on the slide.
He's a really good guy. Like, he's a good person. He's so nice.
It just sucked, you know what I mean? Like, the only one thing I can take away is calf kicks bad, you know what I mean? But no, like, you know, like, Chris Weidman's doing good. He got his surgery, you know what I mean? So it's okay. He's doing fine. He's doing good. We talked about that in the beginning. He sent a little video out today, I believe.
That guy's had the worst luck.
like, say it again?
He's had the worst luck.
Yes, for real. After having like the best luck. But no, like,
that's true.
Yes. No, I mean, it's just a freak injury. Freak injuries do have reasons behind them. Chris Weidman's leg broke for a reason. You know, like, turn your legs over, don't hit with the side of your shin. Calf kicks, you kick into checks, so please understand that. Like, he kicked into a check, dead into a check. Like, Uriah Hall didn't have to like lift his leg up at all to check. He just turned it to the side.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just turned it to the side. Yeah.
And it was very telegraphed and very hard. He swung that like he was kicking a soccer ball or the punt in the thing into the field goal. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, that was not that. I don't know if that would have necessarily happened no matter what, but not so soon because I mean, he was like, "I am going to kick your leg as hard as I can," and Uriah Hall, not worried about anything else, just turned his leg out to check it. You know, and so.
No, yes, like again, like. I say it's a lot of people, you know what I mean? Like you don't really see that in Muay Thai for a reason because those guys are extremely good kickers. They turn like okay, so like your shin bone, right? It's shaped like a kind of like a triangle. So you want to hit with like the point part of the triangle, like your tibia. And like there's more bone to support. It's more dense. It's like if my hand, right? So like there's more like hand this direction than like in this little direction. Yeah. So there's more support. You know what I mean? So that's why you want to turn your leg over. Boom, boom. Boom when you kick instead of kicking sideways like this.
So those Muay Thai guys have been kicking things very hard their whole lives. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the.
No, I'm sorry, Mom. But I always joke, dude. Muay Thai guys, all they do is kick shins every fight, every day. They've been doing that since they were 2 years old.
Very young, yeah.
Again, Muay Thai, dude, it's hard to kick Muay Thai guys. All they do is kick shins. They get checked all the damn time, and like they've been kicking shins since they were little baby kids when their bones were weak as hell. They were like, and like they have 3,000 fights. They fight every freaking weekend, and it doesn't happen to them. Yeah. If it was a normal problem, that would be like it would be running rampant. Every Muay Thai guy just having like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I'm sure it has happened in Muay Thai, but you know, you see them like kicking metal poles in half and things like that. I mean, it's just a different. That's kind of what they've been doing their whole lives is conditioning their shins to. There's a thing called Wolf's Law. I'm not going to get into that, but basically your bones get denser, they get stronger as you do that more and more. And it's a big thing. No, but yeah,
other than that point, man, sad as hell for Weidman, man. He's doing good. Understand, too, that all those injuries are super, super bad. They're not good at all. It's a lot more visually terrifying than it is, like, actual, like, it can be bad, but, like, generally than actual just, like, bad. You know what I mean?
Like my friend Sierra broke his leg like that, and he was back on his feet, I think, in, like, 5 months, something like that. You know, so...
Yeah, like... Obviously, there can be like structural stuff, you know, like with the muscles and your tendons and your bone. Obviously, most of the bone is pretty good, but yes, like it can be very bad. But like, probably if I'm not a freaking doctor. I'm just speaking with no knowledge here. I think Jorge Masvidal had the worst injury of the night compared to Chris Weidman. You know what I mean?
Well, in the long term damage.
Long term,
Because,
yeah, you know what I
well, no,
mean.
because
Long
people
term.
break their legs all the time, and it's far less complicated than brain damages. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, exactly. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
But again, still not trying to downplay Chris's injury. I
No,
think
because it
like,
hurts
even
much
myself, I'm
worse.
like, ooh,
It hurts much worse to have Chris's injury than to just wake up from a knockout.
yes, that was rough, and I know it's really rough, and it just yeah.
No, like Ciro.
But he,
Shout out to Boy Jenkins,
yes.
World Cup qualifier. He was playing soccer in high school, and someone power slid like this with both his legs into Ciro's shin, and not only kicked it in half, but the bone came out of the skin, like muscles.
Oh, so it's a compound fracture? I think that's what it's called.
I don't know. It was broken in half, and then the skin and tendons and muscles all ripped, so the bone came. So it was, but I mean, it took him like 5-6 months before he was playing soccer again. So it can be recovered from it.
No, yes, I'm just sure like hurts like freaking death, and I'm sure like when I'm sure it does, it just looks terrible.
Times, yes. So, God, Chris Weidman, we hope you fucking get back into it, at least get a couple more good wins before you hang
Shout
it
out
up.
Uriah Hall too. It was really cool with what he Uriah Hall was good the whole way through. He was
I agree.
really good
I agree. Like them both. Now Jimmy Crute versus Anthony Smith. Good jab. I thought Anthony Smith looked really good in round one. He looked reasonable in round one. He looked like he does in most of his fights in round one, against guys who aren't John Jones. And as usual, didn't do anything about leg kicks. So Jimmy Crute was not spamming, but throwing low leg kicks at every opportunity, which I thought was a good idea because Anthony Smith wasn't doing anything about them. A few of them happened to be counters to jabs, which I thought was an accidental good idea, or they're just an accident because didn't seem to be an idea. The jab was destroying Jimmy Crute. But that was a trade-off of attrition. Like whose target would give out and break down first, my calf or your chin? Excuse me. Definitely the calf. So I don't like that. I think Anthony Smith needs to do something about getting kicked in the leg because I think Alexander Rakic or someone did the exact same thing to him or something similar to him with leg kicks. There was some clip a while ago.
Anthony Smith did do something. He returned the favor. He said, "Leg kicks clearly going to win this exchange. Let me throw one."
Yeah.
And
so that was so weird. That guy's leg noodled. Like I don't know what happened. I didn't look at the medical report afterward, but it just went out. It's like, have you guys ever slept on your arm and then woke up and like you try to move your arm and it's not even tingling. It just doesn't move. Like it's just flopping around. And it doesn't even feel like you touch it. And you're like, is this me? That's what it was like. It was gone. Like you just can't move it. It is kind of scary. When that first happened, I was terrified. I felt like I was holding a string cheese. It was so weird. And that's what it was like. I was like, this guy's leg is just everywhere. And he was so tough. He actually won the rest of the round. He took him down, and between rounds, he was trying to get back. And then he starts, like he's going to Valhalla, like, ah! And then the doctor's like, no. And then he tried to like angrily punch the thing and actually fell down because of his
that is, I know that made me, I was like,
that was a good.
I know that made me laugh too. I was like, I understand, but like,
I understand where he's coming from. Because I would want to keep fighting too. Because in our mindset, we're thinking life or death. But that's a mindset some fighters get into just for 15 minutes, and that mindset itself doesn't attend to the fact that this is just a cage fight. It's a sport. I have a family and a life outside of this. You know what I'm saying? And it's everyone else's job to make sure that they are attending to that for you, so that when the 15 minutes end, you're like, yeah, I'm so glad I didn't die. I have this kid at home and a wife and fucking shit. So I think it was a good stoppage. I just understand his frustration because I'd be like, no, I'm doing this and I don't care. Like that one guy who lost a fucking finger. Did you see that? It was, you saw that, right?
Yes.
He kept fighting. He kept trying to fight. Some Russian crazy guy kept trying to fight.
I didn't see the fight. I saw like he lost a finger and like they're looking for it and they're like, where's the finger?
It was
at?
in his glove because so it got dislocated in round one, and then some point in the middle of the last 2 minutes of round two, the guy starts pulling his glove, and then it ripped it off, and he separates and starts throwing it like he doesn't give a fuck, and he's just sitting in the corner with it trying to hide it, and he's just stone faced, and he keeps trying to fight, and they're like, no, there's not a finger on that hand, we're calling it off, and he's like upset. These fucking people can be crazy, man. That guy doesn't feel pain or something. He just can't look down, saw his butt. He's like, we gotta win.
When your adrenaline's going, man, you can do a lot of stuff.
Man.
But yeah, man, I saw that on Twitter. And like, it was like, he lost his finger and they're looking for it. I'm like, what the hell? They're like, and then it was like, when did he lose his finger? Because like, in the first one, like, his fingers still there. It was like a whole mystery for like 10 to 30 minutes, man. It was funny as hell. I went
on Fight Pass and watched it, and it was crazy. But anyway, my point is, fighters, would rather win a fight sometimes than look out for their own safety. Not always, because some fighters give up. But it was a good stoppage. Sorry, Jimmy Crute. Great fight. Now we can we have 13 minutes before we reach an hour here. So let's just breeze through the fights from the prelims and the undercard. I took some notes on them. If you don't mind, Trayvon, I'll go through them. If you have anything to say, you can. We're going to just go. Yeah. So did you watch Brendan Allen versus Carl Robertson?
Yes. Oh my gosh, man. Carl Robinson leg locked himself, dude. Gosh, dang it, man.
That was a mistake.
Okay, so are we talking about that? Because I'm going to talk about that.
Go for it. Yeah, we are.
Okay, quickly. Randy Brown got a one-arm rear naked choke. That's cool. I like that. I don't think Dwight Grant won that fight. So whatever.
I hated
but no,
that.
okay, yeah. So Carl Robinson, I think he was in half guard. I forget. But he started to escape out and had a basic Ashigarami attempt. Or he could have just stood up. Either or. You know what I mean?
Like, I don't think it was Ashigarami. It was just like a knee reap. Ashi's like same thing as single leg.
No. He had. I'm saying he had Ashigarami, but he just like knee reap, just a basic knee reap. He had that, or he could have just hit probably a stand up or something, or he could have done a lot of other things. But he had like a basic knee reap that gave I think Brendan Allen, I think outside Ashi. I could be misremembering. And then he just started playing a leg lock game where he had no positioning. He had no leg entanglement. He had no leg entanglement himself.
Went for the heel hook, yeah.
And then I think it was an ankle lock.
It was. But Robertson instantly tried to reap the knee. Try to collect the heel. Like you saw him going for the heel.
Yeah, he has. Dude, you have no leg entanglement. You can't heel hook him. Yeah. You have no control of his legs.
Yeah.
He's the one with control of your bottom leg with his outside Ashi. So all Brennan had to do was just reach back, because Carl Robertson wasn't fighting his own. Like he wasn't fighting his grips or his anything.
Yeah.
And then he just caught him with the ankle lock and like. He just stuck around. He stuck around in an area that he didn't know in too long, and that happens. You know what I mean? That happens. But you have to know, hey, if I'm not comfortable in the spot,
get out,
leave. Because he had a get up. He had a very easy get up from there. You know what I mean? Because he could have threatened. First of all, he himself could have got Ashigarami and threatened stuff, but he didn't know it. Obviously, he just knee reaped, and he could have used that to like stand up or get up or cause a scramble. It was only like 20 seconds left in the round at that time anyway, so like he could have, he could have done stuff. And then he started fishing for legs when he didn't have any grips or any leg entanglement himself.
It was just impulsive.
It's like,
it looked very impulsive. Like, oh, I'm the thing. This is what you do. You go for the thing. And then he just kind of didn't know what to do.
And it's like, I know. I was like, oh, you just didn't know what was going on, man.
Yeah, he
and Brendan Allen's a good grappler. He knows how to do this stuff. You know what I mean?
If you're pulling that off in the UFC, you definitely do, because most MMA fighters don't understand leg locks at all. So he has to have some. And he mentioned Wagner Rocha, whatever.
Brendan Allen, he tapped Kevin Holland. So that's.
Yeah, that's good. He did, didn't he? Yeah, he's a good grappler. I don't know. Why'd you do that? Come on, you're not. That was a mistake, and it was a dumb one, and he wasn't exactly winning the fight.
Yeah, man. I saw that fight. I was like, Carl Robinson, you leg locked yourself, dude. You could have got out. You could have done.
You could have used that to create a scramble and stand, or you could have been like, all I need to do is stay safe for another minute and a half and just try to win the next 2 rounds in the feet. But anyway, that sucks. And in the interest of time, we'll move on because it's annoying. Something I want to talk about is Sabatini versus Connolly. So that fight actually really annoyed me because, again, the commentary was so hot on Sabatini's ground skills, which are very good. But there's a few takeaways from it. This was, to me, a slightly less, or not slightly, like a moderately less despicable version of Rodolfo Vieira versus the guy who just choked him out. No, and I'm not kidding. Because this
Fluffy,
guy...
Big Fluffy. I forget his actual real name, but that's the way Big Fluffy now.
Yeah, I thought it was like Babyface or Big Fluffy, whatever.
I forget his real name. It's the boy Fluffy, though.
The reason being is that he had, like, this guy, you can tell, actually hits the bag and, like, kind of works on the striking. The first grounding exchange that occurred in the fight happened when, in round 1, he actually countered Connolly and dropped him, which was like, I seemed to surprise him just as much as it surprised the audience and the commentary, and then he got on top of him and wouldn't let him go. So, talk about the groundwork. Amazing jiu-jitsu player. The guy in the bottom, Connolly, whatever his first name is, that guy is also a black belt, and it didn't matter. He just got handled. The problem I see, again, and it seems like I hate jiu-jitsu, I don't. I'm talking for MMA. With the Brazilian jiu-jitsu meta, is you can you can progress from stage 1 to stage endgame, right? To the final stage, from stage A to Z of the traditional jiu-jitsu meta. Take the guy down, pass his guard, get into side control, get him out, get to the back, consolidate your hooks, and finish. And then in MMA, you can just sit on his back and never finish him, right? Like, that happens a lot to people. Unless you're Damian Maia. And even against, like, good guys like Masvidal, he got to his back, and Masvidal just didn't fall for his trap. So he just ended up sitting on his back and won a split decision, right? My thing is, like, if you have that much control over your opponent, stop sacrificing top position to roll for the guy's back and look for a choke that you might not get, and that might, especially if you know the takedown is going to be hard for you to get because you don't have a systematic or process-driven way of getting it, right? So my thing is like, he has so much control. He has a wrestling background too, and you can actually see him looking for the far wrist ride a couple of times and not being there. So why don't you just look for a dominant top position, maybe back mount, and start looking to like Travis Brown versus Brendan Schaub him or something? Because a lot what happened there was he'd get through everything, he'd get the back body lock, he'd take the back, they'd roll around, and nothing came of it. Just good control, but it's not exhausting control. It doesn't weather him like a Usman kind of control does, where he's just constantly making you try and fight and then just taking you back to where you started. And it does no damage. So you see in round 2, he timed a really good takedown, and that was a round. In round 3, he did the thing that you always see novice strikers who are really good at grappling do. He had his hands up like this. He got into a square stance and started circling the octagon, like sidestepping the octagon, almost without stopping to strike completely, because he got really uncomfortable. And then he would take blind shots for the takedown that got stuffed as both he got more tired and his opponent seemed to catch on to what was going on and kind of adjusted, right? And it looked like he could have gotten knocked out if there were any more rounds in the fight. You can always tell when this is happening when someone stops trying to cut you off and just sits down on the strike at an angle, and you're circling, and they throw a 1-2 at a weird angle, but instead of like moving and then getting back to the center, you just look the other way and put your head down in the square stance and get hit and then smile and then kind of hollow shit and then shoot for a sloppy takedown afterward. This is exactly what happened to Rodolfo Vieira, only he was fighting someone who was fresh in the first round and who could beat him there, right? And you could see whenever the striking exchanges would occur, whenever Sabatini decided he wanted to engage in striking, it was very drastic. He would sit down and throw a hard combination. He had some cool stuff against the fence where he pulled back and do like a really like 4-piece, nice body shots and stuff. But it kind of annoyed me, to be honest, to see it, because it was like I was talking to the person I was watching the fight with. I was like, this guy doesn't have a process driven way of getting takedowns. Like Khabib Nurmagomedov was the best example, or GSP is a good example. They have a reliable way to get someone to the ground. It's not just like opportunistic takedowns, like off of timing or accidentally dropping someone. You know what I mean? They set up they create the opening for the takedown through their game. This guy did it, and I think that's a problem, because if he has someone who can like just not get taken down for 2 rounds instead of 1, he's not going to be able to outland them. He was just circling kind of waywardly without ever getting into his stance, ever countering reliably where it wasn't like an accident, ever like having like a good 1-2. Just anytime he would bite down his mouthpiece and really overcommit to like a 1-3-4 or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Or just something crazy. So yeah, that was my comment on that fight. Now we can go to the Mongolian guy who fought Natividad. Trayvon has a cool little story about Natividad if you want to tell it. But basically, Natividad threw a really hard straight punch. I think it was a right straight or something. Overextended, got himself square, and then dude countered him with the check left, took backing up, killed him. Yeah. I don't know if you want to tell it.
Well, okay, no, again, I tell the story in a little bit, but I think the guy threw a front kick. Maybe then after he threw the counter, and then he countered that with the left hook. Off of
he liked to throw front kicks.
Maybe I believe
it was like that, because the guy liked to throw. He does a lot. He liked to throw front kicks, and then as that leg was coming down and the guy blocked it, he liked to throw a lead hook with the kicking side. It's a fun little combination.
But no, like I kind of want Kevin Natividad to succeed, because like my friend Cameron, who fought last week on this fight, yeah, you already know the deal, but you already know who it is. He was supposed to fight his little brother. And then after that, we found, like obviously it's really easy to check him, because Kevin, he's fought in the Legacy Regionals as well, which is like kind of, they're not Houston based anymore. Not Legacy FC 80s. LFA. Wait, no, Legacy FC used to be Houston based, but LFA is now just kind of
a bigger
South
group, yeah.
Based.
Yeah.
But yeah, so no, yeah, and then we kind of found out about Kevin, the big brother off of that, and it was like, oh, that's cool. So we want him to succeed, but he's not, unfortunately, which is sad. I hope he does good. And obviously, okay, the counter was cool. The Dana guy is really good, but I was just more worried about Kevin. And then I was like, oh, he lost. That sucks. And then he was crying. Well, I don't think he was crying, but he was really sad at the end of the fight. And I was like, oh, that sucks. And he's talking about having a sports psychologist and all that. I'm like, damn.
It's bad for him.
This just sucks. So this is a really big downer. We're gonna
let's move to something else. It makes me. It's just like I was talking to someone about the dangers of like not having a good, like if you shift too much or you can't stop yourself from shifting, you're like asking to be countered because you're moving in a straight line and it's hard. You know what I'm saying? And it's just funny because he overextended on on a shot he tried to counter with and like walked into it. I don't like seeing that. Anyway, Arichi Lang, whatever his name is, versus Jeff Molina. Was that Jeff Molina? Molina. Whoever he fought. The second card on the Fight Pass, the second fight on the Fight Pass prelims. Very, very good fight. Trayvon and I were both agreeing that we wish that Molina had gone to the body more. It would have been really good, especially because the guy was much bigger than him and he was fighting at an unsustainable pace for diminishing returns. And his body was wide open. I would have been like, you can punch his body, which he did a little bit in round 3. He would throw like a few like Nate Diaz hooks to the body and then go up top. But I thought, you know what? Front kick him in the body. He's coming forward with this stance. Things up the middle are open. He was throwing uppercuts that were landing. Throw a front kick to the body and then work your combination. There was a couple of times he did this thing that was really cool. The one that stuck out to me, he did this from both stances, but the one that stuck out to me was from southpaw. In the third round, anytime you threw something at the wilting opponent from the Chinese Academy. Oh, side note. Sadly, none of those people from the Chinese graduate whatever thing won last night or on Saturday. So that kind of sucks. But he would do this thing. He's like, okay, if I just walk at him, he's going to try and counter. So I'm just going to like get him to do this like cover up thing he always does when I throw anything. He was in southpaw. He threw a left straight, which was just kind of to throw it. Then a leaping left hook to the body. And then as he left at an angle to their stationary opponent. So he changed stances and therefore created a new stance dynamic in relationship to the opponent. As he landed, he threw a short left hook to keep him covering up and from moving effectively. Now he has a new angle and the person's not in a stance. He's kind of not that he was crossing his legs, but his legs are like effectively crossed in relationship to the new stance dynamic, right? Because he's like to his side now. So then Molina now is in orthodox and he throws I think a short right hook and then something else with the left. And then catches the guy out, and the guy's kind of like has to stumble across himself or something like that. And he did something similar from Orthodox, which I'll break down in like the videos that we tacked onto the video. But overall, I thought it was really good boxing from him at that point. And yeah, well-deserved win and good, well-deserved fight of the night, in my opinion. Anything you guys say about it?
No, it was a fun fight. That was pretty good. But you would have hit to the body more. But
Yeah.
that's about that.
He could have earlier on because he could have created round 3 for him earlier in the fight. But
Mhm.
and he got really hurt. at
And
the
even
end.
in round 3, he should have went to the body just period because he would have smoked his body and
Yeah.
probably got a finish.
Yeah, I agree.
Instead, he almost got finished at the end himself.
That would have been bad and sad. But okay, and then there's one more fight. Na Liang versus Andre on something Carnelosi. Fun. It was good. Liang would like throw something nice, hurt Carnelosi, and then just run in wildly like Akiyama did against Don Fry. Like just like with no caution for herself and then get hurt. Then eventually get to the ground. Look good on the ground. Honestly, looked like a purple belt, like a talented purple belt because prioritizing the wrong things, overextending her way instead of like having a solid position, getting swept, and then like going for flashy moves like the like arm bar and the others, like crossing over the body to get the arm bar, falling and not getting in. Yeah, lots of bad decisions, but potential on the ground. I don't know. That's the stuff I want to point out. Bad priorities on the ground, not enough attention to positional solidity, and a good fight. And she walked away with $14,000. Wonder how much of that she gets to keep, especially in her country. Okay. That's it from us for today, unless you have anything left to say, Trayvon.
Nah, that car. That's about that. Unfortunately, next week we have like a Reyes and a Jiri.
For Husker.
I mean, it'd probably be fun. Maybe.
I just am excited for Merab Dvalishvili because he's a Georgian. It's right next to Armenia.
He's fighting next week? Let me check.
And he's fighting I forgot his name, but it's actually a good
Cody
fight.
Stamen. Oh, that's a tough fight.
I
That's
think
a
he
good fight.
loses. I think he loses. I do. Unless he can.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, well, dude, I was watching Merab's fights. He's such a good wrestler, and he's got probably the most underrated cardio out of anyone in the UFC. But he cannot strike to save his damn life. Like, I don't know what he, like, yeah.
This card. I mean, this card is. It got some nuggets because Loma's fighting. Hopefully,
Yeah.
she'll beat up that girl she's
Ooh,
fighting.
Loma
Loma
Bunmi. I love her, yeah.
Bunmi.
The
Yeah,
actual
she's
Thai
cool on
fighter
the
from
feet.
Thailand. Yeah, she's really good.
Thai girl. Gabriel Benitez is fighting. I like Gabriel Benitez. He's cool. Merab and Cody's a good fight. Sean Strickland is pretty cool and he's cool. So hopefully he looks cool. Kutalaba's fighting. So hopefully
Yeah.
he'll do something weird and fun.
Who's he fighting again?
And then Coach
Someone
Swanson's
else.
fighting Giga Chikadze, which can probably be pretty good.
That's a
Yeah.
night for the Georgians. Giga Chikadze is also Georgian.
Yeah. I'm not too high on Giga, but
I don't think he's that
I
good.
hope Cup wins.
I don't think he's that good. He does a lot of weird things in his own, yeah. But in any case, thank you guys for coming out. Like, comment, subscribe, all the YouTube things like you saw at the beginning of the video. And we'll catch you all later. Bye-bye. Hey guys, Post Fight Podcast. We didn't upload last week, so we're going to upload this week. Went a little ham with the edits. Happens. But basically, this is just a little tag-along. Talk about Jiri Prochazka versus Dominic Reyes. We're just adding it on to the end. We're going to get right into it. Trayvon, where do you want to start? Top? You can go ahead.
Yeah, let's start top and super quickly go down the bottom. No, the main thing is that I wanted to talk about with Jiri and Dominic. It's kind of my like, I guess my assumption that Dominic Reyes was like a deeper counterfighter than he was. Because his last two fights have kind of shown that Dominic has a pretty good first layer of counterpunching. Hell, even in this fight, he was tagging Jiri pretty hard with some counters, man. He was sticking him pretty good. He was tagging him some counters. But then after that, Dominic doesn't really have much. Like his footwork, his counters, his defense, everything just kind of dies once you get past a certain level. So like, if Jiri could like slip in and then start to work some more combinations, Dominic would kind of just shell up and then circle off the cage and take big shots off of that. Or if Jiri could surprise Dominic on an entry with just his weird emotions and his kind of inherent feints in his game, and he could surprise Dominic on an entry, Dominic has to like scurry away and get his range back. Because even I remember in the John Jones fight, I was thinking like, Dominic, why are you moving so much? You don't need to move that much. You can just kind of stand your ground and exchange with John, and you can just win these exchanges a lot easier instead of tiring yourself out, moving around for no reason, acting like John Jones is gonna like
counter you to death or hit
like
you back. Yeah.
Scare you in the pocket or something like that. You know what I mean? So like when Dominic Reyes can't is feeling uncomfortable, he'll scurry out of range and try to like reset himself back, which I mean is a normal thing to do. Don't get that, it's a normal thing to do. But like he'll overdo it, and he doesn't have things to protect himself when he's scurrying back into range. He doesn't have like good footwork or like deeper level encounters or things like that. Well, Jiri on the other hand, Jiri's pretty cool. You know what I mean? I don't mind Jiri. I'll watch Jiri fights. Don't get it twisted. You know what I mean? Jiri's very like offensive, man. Really good pace. So that in itself is really rough for a lot of guys to deal with. Obviously, he has a good chin.
He has to. Jesus
and
Christ.
his timing is extremely and his movements and his cadence is extremely weird for, I would say, for most light heavyweights, because again, like he's counterable. I mean, yes, because he's kind of open as he enters range a lot of times. But other than Reyes, very few light heavyweights have the ability to actually counter. So he'll walk into shots every once in a while, because that's Jiri. I've been watching Jiri for a while. He does walk into shots a lot. He's been hurt a lot. He's been dropped a lot. You know, that's just part of his game. That's just part of his style.
Yeah.
But like, if he can kind of like get Dominic Reyes to like be hesitant on countering because of his kind of weird entries and really big bursts, he's gonna have some success. Not that I think he'll be champion, because I like Big Yon.
I think Young counters him though. I think Young is able to counter him to death, to be honest with you.
No, yeah. But like, I wouldn't be surprised if Yuri became champion in the future, because he's still relatively young, and like very few guys in his division can kind of handle him, because he's well rounded. He can do a little bit of everything. Really big, really good cardio, which is so important.
And light heavyweight,
really good chin. And again, his entries are really weird. He'll exchange with you in all ranges. So like, if you try to punch him, he'll try to throw back. Not like he's the best counter puncher, but he'll throw back. And then the way how he, again, like Dominic Reyes, and actually a lot of MMA guys in a hilarious way aren't like prepared to deal with janky weird dudes. Like when they see like weird guys, they're like, what the hell?
Yeah.
I'm used to like fighting this like specific mode, even though a lot of MMA guys are janky weird dudes, which is hilarious to kind of like juxtapose in a funny way. But like, so Dominic Reyes is like thinking of like, I'm used to countering these normal exchanges and these normal entries, and it's like Jiri's like, nah, you're gonna get like boom. You know what I mean? Just like weird motion, boom. You know what I mean? It's like,
punches come from weird spots too. He throws these like strange, you know what I'm saying? Like when he throws punches, he just does weird things that you don't exactly. I don't know, like he's a confusing fighter, right? Because you know when you expect like a regular guy to just like jab, cross, and throw things like normal, he's doing weird stuff. Like he'll put his hands together from here. It's kind of like the O'Malley thing where he'll look to the side and then throw, and then he'll throw from there, and then he just does things you don't expect people to do. So it's kind of flusters you. It's like when you this is like in sometimes in video games, the people who are really bad surprise you because they do unpredictable things that you're not used to doing. You know what I'm saying? Or like like if you're so used to grappling and you're a jiu-jitsu guy and you're used to grappling against other grapplers and you get in a street fight and you take someone down, like maybe you get caught off guard because from mount they hold the headlock and then roll. And maybe it actually works in that time because you're just not used to that. You know what I'm saying?
No, yeah,
Yeah.
but again, no, yeah, and that's why again very corny. That's why the fundamentals matter because
Yeah.
you're just like the bad stuff, like right, it's bad for a reason. It's not like again, it might fluster you because you know you might not be expecting it, and like you
Yeah.
might be like, oh snap, I'm not used to that guy holding mount from a headlock from
the
mount.
headlock.
But then if
yeah.
but if I just like frame it across his chin, I could just break it. Or if
the
I just,
fundamentals
like,
are always
that.
they always beat those weird things. But it can still the fundamentals always beat them. That's why they're fundamentals.
Exactly. Yes. Exactly. Yeah. Or like maybe if I just frame across his chin and posture up, or maybe if I like just trap his arm and get an armbar, really easy armbar. Maybe if I get an arm triangle. But yeah, like because sometimes you get caught off guard. But Donald Reyes caught off guard quite a little bit too much. Like a lot, like too much.
Well, I mean, it worked in this case because it wasn't just all that. You know what I'm saying? We're just gonna walk into counters. It was like, you know, Yuri knows how to fight, and the spinning elbow, it worked because what you see Dominic loading up for a counter. Like I think he's trying to throw a 1-2 or something while Yuri was turned around, and Yuri spins all the way into that shift and then lands that elbow. And Dom just didn't see it; just went dead. You know.
No, yeah. Again, speaking of that too, with the knockout shot, that was rough as hell. Like, yeah, like obviously, like two things like really bad. Dominic was against the cage and kind of pinned, and then we saw like Yuri like walk past him. He kind of like traced like his body, which is normal. You know what I mean? You're gonna follow people with your body, and he just did not see the elbow coming around, and it just damn near killed him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He felt hard too, man, like on his neck.
And that's the second time that he's been really badly hurt in a fight in a row with broken bones
I know that
in his
sucks
face.
too. I know.
I would retire.
But yeah, like
at that point, I would retire.
like Jiri overthrew an elbow. Jiri's the type of guy. He's like, well, overthrew an elbow. Like one of the easiest counters to do when you like overthrow something is to just spin through it. Like just
Tony Ferguson classic.
No, just spin through the shot. You know what I mean? Like a lot of high level kickboxers do that type of stuff. Yeah, just spin through the shot. So I know Jiri has like practiced that before because like it seems like it just seemed like something he would be practicing. It's like he drills that. So yeah, he overthrew the elbow and was like, I just spin through it. I'm good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Dominic was not in position to counter.
Nope.
His back was against the cage. He was tracing like Jiri as he overthrew, and then just got deaded, man. I was like, oh my goodness, man.
Yep.
Like I knew as soon as it landed, he just crumbled. I was like, oh, he's out.
It was over. Yeah, and it was a good fight. I didn't want it to end. He landed an up kick while Prohaska was looking down at him that like dropped him flat, but he like recovered and yeah.
No, yes, it was funny because when it happened, I was like looking away from my screen or whatever for like half a second, and I heard and I was like, oh snap, and then I saw Prohaska, but he was conscious to me, so like when I saw, he looked fine. I was like, what the hell happened? And they were like, he's out. I was like, is he? I mean, he wasn't. I was like, what the hell are they talking about?
He went for a second. He went limp for a second, but he landed in side control or something, and it worked for him. He went down.
So, like,
it was
weird to me. But no, other than that, like, Yuri's pretty fun. Like, I'll watch his fights. Sucks for Dominic Reyes, man, because he doesn't. I was telling Armand this before. He doesn't even get the clout of like Cody Garbrandt for beating an all-time great in his title fight because he got robbed. So like now he's just on a 3-fight losing streak, and his leash is a lot shorter. Like Cody Garbrandt's gonna be around for a lot longer than he probably like should be because he's gonna be a former UFC champion. Beat Dominic Cruz, yeah. You know what I mean? You know all that. But Dominic Reyes, on the other hand, he didn't get like the prestige, all the other good stuff that comes with being a champion. He got robbed and then just getting beasted on, which sucks.
It's
like, really, really sucks.
I would probably retire if I broke my nose twice in a row. To be completely honest with you, I would retire because I mean,
I don't think he has to retire. He has a lot of promise still, like I would say, but
man,
he's in a bad spot.
That's a lot of broken bones in my face for back-to-back fights. That's a lot of
that's true. I'm not. He's in. I didn't say he's not. I say he's in a bad spot. So
yeah, no. I'm saying I'm not saying he should. I'm saying I would retire if I broke my nose twice in a row and probably my jaw and my cheekbone or whatever. I'd be like, that's enough. I have children and whatever I'm gonna have one day. I don't want to throw that away for a belt I might never win. Okay.
No, that's understandable.
I honestly, it was brutal. All those broken bones in his face, and then all that fight. All him kept fighting throughout after getting like punished for like 2 rounds just to go down like that. You know what I'm saying? To me, it's like you might as well just gone down.
Yeah. That's always gets me too. Yes, like because sometimes right when you're tough, a lot of times toughness can be really bad, like in a bad way. But like you can sometimes have like the at least like the moral victory of not getting knocked out. But like when you're tough and get knocked out, it's just like For what reason? Why? You should have just
You should
legit just
the first time you should have pretended you were out. You know what I'm saying? You should've
exactly,
said,
man. Tap out. Like as soon as you get hit once, you're like,
bang. But I mean, hindsight is obviously 2020, and I'm not saying anyone should do
yes,
that. I'm
exactly.
just saying,
Yeah.
from a viewer's perspective, I'm like, he took so much damage, and I was hoping he would win as like this warrior, or at least have like a split decision. You know what I'm saying? I was hoping something would come of it, and it was like, you did all
At least
that.
make it to the end.
You broke your bones in your face. And it's not even like I'm saying it's his fault. When I'm not like saying, oh, you did all that to get knocked out as a criticism. I'm saying like this sport is so brutal. Like he went through all that fighting, all that pushing through those broken bones and countering, almost dropping Jiri, and with that hard counter shot just to get deaded in a worse way than he had to. God, this sport, man.
In a highlight reel knockout.
Yeah.
And like.
Jeez.
Yeah, a stepping stone type of win. Yeah,
exactly. I don't even know if it was worth. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure if it was worth it. So that's what I'm getting at. Anyway,
yeah.
Let's move.
We got the existential crisis hour.
yeah. Let's move down the card now. The next thing was Giga Chikadze
Yeah, we're gonna be
Cub
quick.
Swanson. Man, poor Cub. I mean, Cub was doing
Yeah.
fine. He was on a 2-fight prospect defeat streak. And it wasn't like I think unless something broke in his ribs, I think he did fine. He'll come back. That wasn't that bad. Giga Chikadze, it's decent. Nice left body kick. Like the southpaw fighting. Okay, and go Georgia. Light heavyweight was Ion Kutelaba versus Justin Kobe.
You know Armand doesn't. Oh wait, no, is that the caucus? Is that the caucus? Am I wrong?
It is. It's neighbor to Armenia.
Okay, yeah. So you know, Armand isn't too high on Giga if he's not wearing the
Papaga
or whatever it's called.
Papaha. Yeah, it's in my car, but I wouldn't be wearing. I mean, Giga's okay. He's okay. He's kind of corny. I think he's overrated. And anyway, Ion Kutelaba, the biggest dick in the UFC. Through like Trayvon was saying it, and I want him to say it again. He said, "What did you say about the jaws of victory?" It was just a beautiful comment.
No, just Dustin Jacoby, like he had victory. Oh man, I forgot how I said it, man. Okay, snatching victory.
When you can't.
I said,
yeah.
I said like Dustin Jacoby had the opportunity to snatch victory from the jaws of victory and still failed because Kutalaba, he does it all the fight. Gas himself out in the first round, doing hard stuff, being excessive as he always is. And Dustin Jacoby had this fight on a silver platter, and he just did not know how to win it, which is unfortunate. That I'm like, no, man, you got to do better than that, man. Like,
it made me mad.
You had a guy that was gassed, who couldn't wrestle anymore, who was only throwing really big, hard shots to cover distance, breaking his stance, just doing all kind of crazy things. And, like, you kept him in the fight, man.
He slipped underneath and got the outside angle on a lot of those punches a lot of times and had the hand loaded up and didn't throw it. He countered him. Like, he could have easily countered him. I was like, throw the counter, throw the left round kick when he's circling in the one direction with his hands down. Do anything. And he just kept throwing the ones and the twos. And I was like, bro, you're winning these rounds, but it's not enough. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. He could have finished him.
Like I said, man,
I don't like Kutelaba.
No. Like, Dustin, man, like, this fight was his to win. It was just his to win. Like, Ion was like, hey, man, do you want to win this fight? And Dustin was like, I mean, in theory, I would like to. And Ion was like, here, take it. And Dustin was like,
maybe next time. I'm not too sure.
I know,
you
know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's sad, man, because, like, he had this fight, man. But no, Kutalaba, man,
I don't like him at all.
He's goofy. Dude, 1 week after Jeremy Stevens done hurting people off of weigh-in stuff, he's out here being extra. Kutalaba was always so excessive, dude. Like,
I was so, like, honestly, it was so satisfying when he got choked out by Glover and when he got knocked out by Ankalaev.
It's not okay. Also, man, it's not even like he's doing things in a cool way. It's not even like he's doing things in like a funny way.
He's
like,
attacking people or screaming at them for no reason.
Yeah, and it's like, why? Like,
he's the Hulk. He used to dress up in green body paint. And,
I know, but dude,
scream
calm
at people.
down. I mean, okay.
And if you look at his Instagram, he's always like.
Also, really, it's not even like he's good enough to make it work. Dude, if you're good enough, you can make stuff like slide. If it was like I'm smashing people and I'm doing.
He's good in round one. He's okay in round one. But it's like, if you look at his Instagram, he has kids and like a wife, and he acts super like he loves them, and he's taking those pictures of them. I'm like, dude, your kids see you randomly assaulting guys. You know what I'm saying? Like Jacoby would just at the stare down, and he just goes, just like spanked him in the back of the neck. I'm like, what did he do to you? I don't think he said anything.
He got the hardest collar tie of all time. I'm like, why you do that, dude?
He's just a dick. And then he puts on the performance of gassing out round one. Like, you cannot do that and then not finish him with the dominant performance you had in round one.
He does it all the time. It was funny, though, when Jared Cannonier was yelling in his face, though. That was pretty funny.
Who won that fight?
Jared Cannonier.
Oh, he knocked him out?
No, he was like, it was a decision, but he was like, he was like yelling in his face like, "You can't hurt me," and he couldn't hurt him, and he doesn't care. Yeah.
I gotta watch that fight now. That's dope.
No, yeah, it's in the third round. It's fun. Dude, watch that.
I
Even
gotta
in the
watch
third round,
that
it's funny,
fight.
man.
Anyway, so moving down the card, I didn't watch Strickland versus Jotko. That was
I like Strickland. Jocko's really not entertaining. Jocko's Strickland is fun.
that's why I didn't watch it.
Middleweights, yeah, middleweights.
Dwalish-Willie, I did wear my papaca during this fight. Cody Stamann, that was a good fight.
What a good fight.
Yeah, a good fight. Dwalish-Willie is annoying because he's like Trevor and I were talking about. You can only appreciate him so much. He's one of those really high pace guys. When everyone's like those voter posts on YouTube and whatnot, who has the best cardio, Tony Ferguson, Max Holloway, he needs to be in that conversation because seriously, because he has some of the most insane cardio that he just sprints. I'm not, and that's only half metaphor. He's literally sprinting sometimes, for the entire fight and hopping up and down, doing a little weird and then doesn't get tired. But anyway, so Dwalish-Willie, he's got really, really good open space wrestling. He can drive a very high pace. He has bad striking, gimmicky striking that facilitates his takedown, facilitates his takedowns. He has horrible top control. So what his fights end up being is he'll outpace people, take them down. They'll get up very quickly, and then he just runs at them again, and then the process usually repeats. I don't know if he has a good chin or not. He seems to has a reasonable chin. So when he does get hit, he's kind of just backs up and smiles and jiggles his head around a little more, and then sprints after them some more. And yeah, he beat Stamann by just doing more of what he does than Stamann did what he does. Yeah. Anything else to say?
No, yeah, pretty much that's that.
I like Dwalish-Willie though.
Like Armand said, the most important. It's unfortunate these guys. I can't appreciate them to the extent that I should, because the one area that he does have legitimate skill in, obviously, is his wrestling. Legitimate, just really good skill.
Very good. Yeah.
But he doesn't have a game that his game is pace, and that's kind of, I don't like that. It's kind of annoying because that's very easy. That's not easy. It's not easy to break because you have to have good cardio yourself. But those are the type of guys, if you can master cardio and are good, you can just kill them pretty hard, and you can kind of almost get them to commit suicide in a way, they break themselves through their own pace.
Yeah.
No. Yes.
Yeah.
You'll have them wrestling, over striking, and they break themselves because they're keeping an insane pace, and then you're countering them or you're doing whatever you need to do to stifle their emotions, and then they'll gas themselves out. And it's dude, you could just be instead of doing that, be a better fighter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The Kobe's. Kobe has a very insane, cardio, but if he's out here throwing 3,000 strikes and can't wrestle and getting countered hard as hell against Usman, he's gonna gas.
Yeah.
And he gassed and got himself hurt.
Yep.
Yeah, Dvalishvili also, and then Dvalishvili's game is just being I have insane cardio, and it's I have an insane skill set. One space that I can keep myself safe in. I can always go to that keep myself comfortable.
And he out wrestled Stamann, who's also a good wrestler. I mean,
exactly. No, that's impressive. That's impressive. Yes, because if you just try to put a pace on Stamann, you have to have something to actually put the pace on him.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have something, you cannot actually put the pace on him. Staman's a really good wrestler. He was giving Aljo big trouble in the wrestling exchanges in their fight.
Yeah. And over the after round one, Dvalishvili, almost every takedown entry, he elevated Stamann and put him on his back. It did nothing.
Yes,
but yeah.
That's impressive because after round one, he was picking him up consistently. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, I don't mind Merab. I'll watch Merab fights because again, overall he's a good fighter, but his game is just pace, and that's not
gonna win you titles or even. Yeah.
Yes, it's sustainable, but it's not gonna win you.
At what level
fights.
is this sustainable?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And again, there's still and I'm not saying that there's not a lot to be learned from non-elite guys, absolutely, but it's just kind of his fights are gonna be the same thing again and again and again, and the same answers okay, can you handle XYZ? Yes, you're gonna beat him. No, you're not. It's not he's gonna show
very much Jeremy Stevens type of dichotomy there, where it's can you handle
IQ test?
Yeah,
IQ test and physicality test.
Yeah. So can you handle these things and keep up with him physically? Yes, then you're gonna beat him every time. If not, you're gonna drown somehow.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not like oh man, maybe Merab is gonna show us something new today.
No.
And
I hope because I like Merab. I like him, and I mean it's not he called out Sean O'Malley a while ago. That's a fight I thought he would win a long time ago, but now I just think he would just die. I think he'd just run onto a counter or something. To be honest,
he might run into the counters. Yeah, he might run into the counters.
No, because
hopefully Sean can't wrestle like that.
Well, I don't. But the thing is, I think over time, because if you actually watch Merab when he couldn't get the takedown in the beginning against Stamann, he was doing the same thing over and over, shifting overhand into the takedown shot. That's something a guy like O'Malley would see twice, and the third time he would time a jump knee. But it is because it's predictable and it's not hard to time an
Yeah,
uppercut
yeah.
or something. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I basically I don't even like O'Malley, and it would make me nothing more than exuberant to see Merab Wallace really smash O'Malley. Like I don't like O'Malley and I like Merab a lot, but I just wouldn't if I was sending in one of my guys to go beat him, it wouldn't be Merab. You know, it would be
No, yeah.
someone who has the pace and wrestling in Merab, but like who's smarter and better. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Basically. Yeah.
and moving down now, Luana Pinheiro versus Random
I was
Marcos.
mad about this one as well too. He has reason to be mad about this one as well.
This one was fucking the biggest bullshit I ever seen in my entire life. She wasn't sure whether or not to fucking complain about the shot at the end or to pretend like it happened. And so she went down, and people made the argument, oh, she was winning that fight. Why does she have reason to do that? Bro, people have, like, do you understand? Like, fighting is stressful, and maybe she would have lost, and maybe she's getting tired. And if you watched Renzo Gracie versus Frank Shamrock, Renzo was winning that fight. And he got, like, very, very lightly tapped in the back of the head. And he pretended like he couldn't see or do anything for the rest of the 20 minutes of the broadcast one. He was like,
No,
oh,
I never. And Frank Shamrock fought when?
When they're both older. They fought in Strikeforce, and Renzo continually took him down. He kicked him in the leg, and he was on top of Shamrock, and Shamrock like threw a knee to the back of his head. And Renzo went, oh, caralho, where am I? I don't know where I am. Am I back in Rio? I'm back in Rio de Janeiro. This guy.
Okay, oh yeah, I never knew they
and
fought.
No, he like wide-eyed and like walked out of the thing. And I was like, dude, like people can be winning a fight and then pretend like they, you know what I'm saying? Like,
okay, it was a legit illegal knee, and it was a pretty clean shot. But yeah, I think she did fake it. She was like, and then fell back.
Yeah, she like looked like she had thoughts, but that's not how that damage happens. If you watch people get deaded like that, their body just turns off. You know what I'm saying?
There are weird ways to get knocked out, but even still, like I've seen weird knockouts where they look funny, but like.
But this one looked like she was like trying to look up and talk to the. I don't know if I believe her. I just don't believe her. I don't believe her, and I'm jaded because of fucking. I'm aware that I'm being illogical and biased, and that I'm, like I said, jaded because Aljamain Sterling. I think he was hurt. I don't think he lied about being hurt, but his performance afterward, like on the days following, has made me hate anyone who gets illegally injured.
No, yeah, yeah. Armand's been pissed off as hell since that happened. One thing I wanted to say to end off the topic that's really, I guess, Randa Marcos off of that is on a 4-fight losing streak, which sucks ass for her. Like, she lost this fight by DQ, so she's on a 4-fight losing streak, so she might get cut.
Well, also, she should be cut because her record's 10-12-1. So she should have been cut fucking 4 fights ago or whatever, but, it's the women's division, it's okay. I'm sure this type of thing actually happened with the male division however many years into their history.
But no, quickly, next fight, TJ Brown versus Kai Kamako was really fun.
I thought that was the wrong decision.
Probably. I wasn't paying attention like that, but yeah, I would probably say so. Nevertheless, good ass fight though, so that was cool.
I didn't watch this next fight.
I have no idea. Like I don't know.
There's two
but
Loma's,
Loma though. Loma won. That's baby girl right there.
Loma.
I like Loma.
Loma is getting better. Her striking is good, but she actually got hit a few times in the third round. But her trips from the clinch are absolutely amazing, and I loved watching it.
Yeah, Loma in boxing exchanges, not cash money. Loma in kicking exchanges, cash money. Loma in the clinch
exchanges,
super duper cash money.
Oh, she's the best. I love her fucking clinch fighting.
I know exactly. Yeah, that's about that. Loma's cool. I can see her work. And then all the rest of the fights, yeah, whatever. Who cares?
There were.
Yeah, that's about that for the card.
I didn't watch them. So
I've seen them, but yeah, whatever.
Good for you, bro. Good for you, bro. What, you think I'm not a hardcore fan?
Yeah, not good for me, but no, yeah, that's about that. It sucks. Dominic Reyes 3-fight losing skid. Jiri, he can be a title contender for years, so that's pretty cool, I guess. Next week's card was supposed to be TJ and goddamn Sandhagen, but TJ got cut. So now it's Michelle Waterson
like physically
and
cut.
Rodriguez.
Like physically cut, like not cut from the roster. Like he got like severed.
Yes, physically cut. Pretty bad one too. Not Jessica. Michelle. I was thinking about Jessica because she's her OnlyFans today. But Michelle Waterson and Marina Rodriguez, and that's not a bad fight. But Michelle Waterson in main events. I don't want to see her.
That's the problem. It's gonna be lots of meme kicks, like throwing kicks at nothing.
So no, I'm letting you guys know. That's secondary. I'm gonna watch Canelo before this. Canelo's fighting this Saturday. I'm watching that fight before I'm watching this.
Well, and I got another news.
Yeah.
Nate Diaz pulled out of his fight with Leon Edwards due to injury, which sucks
Yes,
for
man, the
Leon
Houston card
because
sucking.
no, it's not even that.
Yeah, that's sucking for me, too.
Leon was obviously going to win that fight with flying colors, and it would have been big clout for Leon Edwards. He beat the Stockton guy. You know what I'm saying? Nate Diaz's followers will never accept defeat. They think that he was going to win against Jorge Masvidal, right? So they think he's still undefeated. So when Leon went out there and just schooled him, it would have been big for Leon Edwards. He would not have like actual claim for publicity.
They
To a title
rescheduled
shot.
it though.
They did. Oh, good. So they're not just going to give him some random guy. Thank God.
No, yeah.
Okay, thank God. But what's on the Houston card? It's a good. Who is it? I forgot. It's a title fight though.
Oh, Charles and Michael Chandler, but the card is. Okay, Tony Ferguson and Benil's now the co-main, I believe. Kagan and Vivian Arujo.
That's what I was excited about.
Shane Burgos and Barboza's cool.
Hey!
Finding some random dude.
They're giving Jacare a goodbye.
Jack Hermanson and Edmund are fighting. Oh man, I can't wait for that.
Oh,
man,
my God, they're killing my boy. They're killing him.
I know, yeah, I know.
It's like that meme where the guy from The Godfather, the Don's looking at his son. He's like, "Look what they did to my boy. Look how they massacred my boy." That's literally what they're doing to Edmund.
Other Shevchenko's fighting Andrea Lee, so that's all right, I guess.
The one I don't care about, but she's better looking.
And then my Twitter friends really like Damir Ismagulov, and I think I'm not even sure if that fight's on the card, but I heard that.
Wait, I don't know of him. Damir Ismagulov. That sounds like someone I should know.
He beat what's that guy named? Thiago Moises.
I figured he's Kazakh.
I've never seen him fight, but he looks pretty good just in the highlights I've seen.
His name's this on.
Yeah, he beat Thiago Moises.
Yeah, he's from Kazakhstan. He beat Thiago. Who are your Twitter friends?
If you guys don't know this guy, he's like a good guy. He looks like a good guy, like a Rashid Magomedov type guy. And let me some Rashid Magomedov.
Rashid Magomedov. Isn't he like okay?
No, he's more than okay. He's just good. He's not like a championship level fighter or anything like that. But Rashid's just like a good fighter.
Didn't he lose?
He beat up Gilbert Burns.
He fought Beneil Dariush. Who won that fight? Didn't he?
Beneil, but like he looked good against Beneil, but like Beneil just like.
Oh, this guy has had 3 fights in UFC. Alex Guerrero, whoever, Yoel Alvarez, and Thiago Moises. Okay, I'll have to look into him. Your boys like him? Who is he? Who like him? Wagner or who likes him?
My man Serum Murad.
Your man can't say his name.
I know his last name, but no, his name is Serum.
Sriram.
Serum, yeah.
Yeah, for the Indian dude, yeah. I wouldn't be able to say his name either. Shout out to your boy though. That's cool. I trust his analysis. So
so like
I'll take a look.
Houston card looking bad, which just sucks.
Cameron Smotherman fighting soon though.
He's fighting next week, I guess you could say. Yeah, May 16th or something like that. I forget. Right after the Houston card, the day after the Houston card.
Anyway, so that's good. So we're gonna cut this episode off now. That was our extremely informal and sort of dismissive preview of the upcoming card. We'll probably fill you guys in on more on that since we got a week or we got longer before that card happens. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. Love you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.